volume up here. Here. Call down. Y'all give me 1 second. Trying to get all these volumes down so it doesn't disturb us. All right, I think I have it now. Alrighty now. Let's see. Hey, Cora. Hey, John. There's Joseph. Sorry, I was having trouble with my notes. I apologize for being so late. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Macy. I do apologize for being late tonight. I was having trouble with the... Oh, cool. That works out perfect. I was actually having trouble with, he says, just as it falls. See if we can set it up like that. There we go. That's better. Now I completely lost my... Give me a second here. There we go. All right. Now, you guys can see me okay? Can you hear me okay? You'll let me know. We got good volume here. Hey, insane disappearances. I figured no better way to talk about voodoo than in the dark. No better setting, right? And I have light tonight so y'all can see me. Because Joey gets upset when he can't see my face. He gets lonely when he can't see my face. He fusses at me. Last week when I was out here, he said, I can't see your face. Awesome. I'm glad you guys can hear me. Everything is good on my end. Another good thing about being outside is I can smoke. Y'all don't do this. Do as I say, not as I do. You know how that goes. Everything's good on my end. Awesome. Thank you guys. I'm glad. I didn't know how the sound was going to do. I still don't know how the phone's going to do. I got it. I had to wipe out. That's why I was late tonight. I couldn't get it to load. And when I did get it to load, I had to, it kept saying no network found, which was crazy because it was on the network. So what I did is I literally dropped it from the phone, just deleted YouTube altogether, reloaded it, and then too late to tell me not to smoke. Yeah, I hear you. I had completely dropped it from the phone, reloaded it, and then even after that, it came on twice, but then wouldn't let, and then kept popping back out. So hopefully it's there now. I'm signed in. I'm online. Tech can be fickle. I know I texted the team and said I really hate technology. I really do too. I don't hate technology because it's given us a lot of good equipment and stuff. Sorry about that. Hold on. Give me a second. I am sorry. I don't know how loud that is to you guys, but it's pretty loud to me. I'm afraid it's probably loud to you guys too. I apologize. One of the perils of being outside, my neighbor just fired up his four-wheel drive. And for some reason, they like them to sound like that. We hear it. Yeah, I figured you could. I'm sorry. They're about to leave. Give them a second. Y'all see that I am sporting the specs tonight? That's because I have my notes on the computer, on the laptop. I couldn't get the laptop to load at all, so I don't know. I've got to get the. You guys have got to find me a cord for. If I have any computer geeks out there, y'all got to find me a cord for the CAPI laptop. I really need one. and I can't find one anywhere. So I'm sure I could probably order one offline, but I don't know how to do that. I may get Paramama. Hold on, it's coming back. We live in a cul-de-sac, so whenever someone pulls out of their drive and goes down the cul-de-sac, they have to turn around and come back. The frames look nice. Do they really? I'm glad y'all. I'm glad they're not too horrible. I just need them to read with. That's all they are, is reading glasses. They look like regular glasses, but they're not. They're actually just reading glasses. I had to take a trip to the ER earlier tonight. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I hope you're okay, Michelle. Hope everything turned out all right. Obviously, you're okay. You're on here. I'm sorry. I thought we were going to go to the ER tonight too. It was looking earlier like we might be spending the night in the ER because Dakota, everybody's favorite Dakota, is actually feeling really bad today. I think it's her allergies. We were out in the working on the new place today, yesterday, all day yesterday, and we're doing a lot of tree cutting and limbs and grass, and her allergies got to kicking her butt, so she didn't do so good. So let's get started. Anyway, that's why I was late, because I couldn't get. I sliced my finger open chopping up chicken to cook for dinner. Oh my gosh, bless your heart. Did you get any stitches? I hope not. They very seldom use stitches anymore, though, don't they? They usually um, use the glue. That's what I was going to say. The glue or strips or staples. Very seldom they use stitches. They still use stitches sometimes, but not very often. Wait, what? Is everything all right, man? Yeah, everything's okay. She just her allergies are kicking her butt, and it got to a point to where she was having a little bit of problem breathing. But we got her some medicine and got it in her, and she seemed to be better. Let me put it this way: she when we left Paramama's parents' house, she wanted to go to Brewster's and get some ice cream, and then while we were at Brewster's getting ice cream, she wanted to go to Bama Lanes and go bowling. So obviously she felt better. She said she didn't. She said she still felt bad, but she wanted to go bowling at the same time. So there you go. Do the math. So I hate this glare on these glasses. I really do. I apologize for that. I wish I could do something. Maybe if I just keep my head down like this. Because if I look up, I got that big glare right there, and I apologize for that. All right, let's get started. Since I'm so late. Prayer list. Let's get the prayer list going. Um, why is there 8 people in here and no likes? Y'all go hit the like button for me, please. Oh, don't you just love safe cigarettes? They keep going out. Alrighty. Prayer list. Keep us on your prayer list. Um, let's add Dakota to the prayer list that she gets her allergies under control. Um, I'm kind of thinking she's probably going to have to start doing an inhaler. We're going to take her to the doctor Tuesday or Wednesday. We got to call them tomorrow. Our pediatrician doesn't take walk-ins, so we have to call them tomorrow and make her an appointment. So we're either going to go Tuesday or Wednesday, whichever day that is. I'm going to take off work either Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever the earliest is they can get her in. And I'm probably 100% sure they're probably going to put her on an inhaler. Her breathing is getting kind of icky. But let's add her to the prayer list. Keep continue praying for us and the move and everything. And we're getting work done on the barn. We're going to be out there every weekend doing work, and um, we're inviting everybody out. Anybody wants to come out and hang out. If you don't have to work, if you don't want to, you can just hang out and eat hot dogs and hamburgers and drink a cold beer or cold soda and just hang out while we work and fellowship and just have fun. But we're going to be out there every weekend for the next probably 10 weeks, I'm thinking. The um, the mini house is ready. Um, so we've got that. That's a prayer answered for us. It's ready to go. They're just waiting on the delivery guy. The delivery guy's super busy getting stuff delivered. Obviously, there's a lot of people. Oh, please don't mess up. What is it doing? Hold on. I don't know. It brought up something about disk space. Maybe it won't matter. Let's see. There we go. Ha ha ha. All right. So continue to pray for us in the move and the new place and everything. We're working our butts off getting it ready. Um, Continue to pray for me. I'm still having all my dental issues. Um, Hopefully that'll be over soon, in the next few weeks. Continue to pray for Tom and Beth. Beth is dealing with her breathing issues, and Tom is still dealing with his back issues. So please continue to pray for them. Continue to pray for John, our team manager. He is in the search of a job. If anybody knows a good paying job, y'all let us know, please. Somewhere in the vicinity of Birmingham, Jefferson County area, or Shelby, or anywhere around in there. Y'all continue to pray for his job search. Also pray for their return. John went on vacation. Him and his family went on vacation down south, Alabama. So they're going to be returning. John, when y'all coming back? Is it Tuesday, I think? But continue to pray for them, for his job search, and also for their travels. Um, Continue to pray for Joey and Stephanie and their situation. Um, Continue to pray for our team. I do have a really cool announcement to make. The team just found another really good deal on some really nice equipment. Um, I'm going to put a deposit down on that equipment tomorrow, and then I'm going to pay on it for a while. I think it was $600, I think, but there's two items in there that would cost more than $600 if you went and bought them. So, and there's a lot of stuff, but I'll show you guys when we get the stuff in, like I did last time when we showed everybody our new equipment. But we got some new equipment coming in to make our investigations even better. I know just right off the top of my head, we've got a night vision monocular coming. We've got something I'm really excited about is um, I'm so excited about it, I forgot its name. A REM pod. We have a REM pod coming. We have some more recorders coming. We have some more EMF meters, temp gauges. I mean, just a whole bunch of stuff. Some cameras. We have a full spectrum camera coming. Um, oh, and believe it or not, is everybody sitting down? No one's. Hey, you. Yeah, you. That one right there. Can you sit down for real quick for me, please? Don't stand while this part is going. Sit down because you're gonna. I don't want you to fall. Yeah, sit down. You can sit right there. That's fine. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, put your foot up there. Cool. Thank you. Awesome. Um, we actually have a honks coming. It's part of the equipment. Can't believe that. I never thought that we would be buying or that I would be buying, especially a funeral. Um, but I did, and it's coming. Um, there are some really awesome people that are really excited about it, and then there's me that is not real excited about purchasing a funeral. Um, but we have that coming, believe it or not. So, ugh, I don't know what to think or feel or anything. I'm a little bit scared. Um, I'm not scared. I'm just, I don't know. I feel like a sellout because I'm purchasing a new, and so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. Let me see else. You got a like for me. Thank you, Insane. Oh, and my mom is driving now. Maybe we will contact Apple Tater. Oh. Yeah, Joey said it. The item that I'm talking about is a spirit box. Yeah. Yes, I'm buying a freaking spirit box. I know there's a lot of people. There's some people turning in their grave as we speak. There's a couple people turning in their grave right now, just because I said that. And there's, uh, yeah, I've been driving her. Well, that's nice of you. But yeah, and I want to go on record again because I have to say this every time because people think that I'm so much against these things and everything. The only reason I don't use a spirit box is because in the paranormal field, in this scientific research field, you have to use 100% viable and recordable and usable evidence every single time. You can't use anything that could be questioned in any way. The only reason is because for every piece of evidence out there, there is thousands of people ready to just debunk it and to tell you how stupid you are for even believing this. So we have to be super careful when it comes to stuff like that. I'm sorry, my screen is going away. Here we go. So you have to be super careful when you're using stuff like that because just the evidence you can't always use because, and here's the reason why, not because a spirit box can't work. Now, I would be completely hypocritical and vulgar to say that a spirit box 100% is fake. It can't be used. It doesn't work. You know, I can't say that in the same sentence as I'm saying that a white noise works. I know white noise works because I've used it and I know it works. It does give them a vehicle, an avenue to use to communicate verbally. Um, it gives them that. It takes a lot of their energy usage away when we use something like white noise. Reason being is because it allows the sound to be there. All they have to do is manipulate the words. If you understand what I'm saying, they don't have to use the energy to create sound, which is a lot of energy. They can just use that sound to manipulate and negotiate a word, and and they do. I've experienced that, and white noise does work. So, can a spirit box work? Absolutely, it can. If it's making a noise, then yes, it can. If it's making a noise that doesn't generate sound or doesn't generate verbal communication, then yes, it can definitely be used. Um, However, what a spirit box does is it scans UHF frequency, radio frequencies, um, and for I believe John, correct me if I'm incorrect on this, but I think it's 1/8 of a second. It stops on each signal that it finds, like a scanner, like a police scanner. You guys used to have those in your home. Some people still do. Used to be back in the 80s and uh, early to mid 80s. Well, actually early 80s to about mid 90s. Pretty much everybody had a spirit box, a police scanner in their home, and it would have several different channels. Used to be you could get them with 4, 8, 12, or 16 channels. I think you can get them up to 24 or 32 channels now. But they would scan each channel for 1/8 of a second, and then whenever something would hit, when they get a signal on that channel, it would stop until that signal went away, and you would be able to hear the entire conversation. Well, the difference between that and a spirit box is a spirit box only sets on that channel, whether it's a signal there or not, for 1/8 of a second. So it'll still verbalize whatever is being said, but it still skips to the next channel. Now, can it be possible? And I meant to have this ready for y'all when I talked about this because I didn't mean to talk about it tonight because we were doing the voodoo thing. But there's a thing on TikTok and YouTube that you can go on. Just go on there and Google, not Google, but go to your search engine on YouTube or TikTok and search um, sound manipulation or no influenced sound. It would be probably the best. And there's a thing on there where it'll play um, a sound for you, and it'll give you two options on what you hear. If you read this one, that's what you'll hear the sound say. But if you read the other one, that's what you'll hear the sound say. I sent it to the team not long ago, um, and it's still the same sound. It's just whatever you're thinking in your head, that's what you're going to hear. So that's why we can't 100% rely on a spirit box, just because it could be just that, but we're hearing what we want to hear. Um, it could be saying Crazy Fred's auto sales, and then we think it says um, I'm dead or something like that because it's only a snippet of whatever it says. So, or it could be saying I'm dead on the frequency, and then what we hear is Fred, and then they say, oh, the guy that lived here that died here, his name is Fred. Okay, whatever. So that's the reason why we can't use it. I'm not saying that a spirit box cannot work. I'm saying that it can work, but it also could be something else. And so there's no way to differentiate between debunking or proving when it comes to a spirit box. That's the only reason why I don't use them. But I did tell the team not long ago that I was open to using one and trying one. And there was an experiment they wanted to try. And I said, I'm totally open with that. We'll look into doing that. And so now we have an opportunity to get a good spirit box and for a great price. That's what the best thing is. That way I'm not spending a lot of money on just idiotic stuff. See a little jab, but um, so yeah, that's the only reason why I say no to spirit boxes. So, um, but we are going to get it. We're going to give it a shot. We're going to experiment with it and see what we come up with. And I'm definitely open to doing that. We just have to keep in mind that we can't use that as evidence. All right. Okay. If I missed anybody on the prayer list, continue to pray for Lisa. My friend that has the breast cancer. Continue to pray for her. I have another friend who is, um, I just found out that this friend, um, I'll tell you his first name. His first name is John, um, not our John. This is just somebody else. But he's going through a divorce. He was just informed today that he's going to be going through a divorce. So y'all keep him in your prayers too, because that's never fun. Um, but anyway, y'all just keep him in your prayers. Absolutely. Because he's a great guy. He really is. Um, if I have missed anybody, continue to pray for our daughter Alyssa. Any day now, she's going to be having Colton. Colton would be welcome to the family. We're all just waiting for that call. It's time. He's dropped. He's in position. She's already starting to kind of get some pain. This is her first child, so y'all know it could take a little while. But everything is in play for Colton to be born. We're just waiting for Colton to be ready, and when he's ready, he's going to be coming. And so y'all continue to pray for that and that everything goes well with that. It'll be any day now, and of course we'll make an announcement that we're welcoming a new member to the CAPI family. Absolutely. Um, if I missed anybody, y'all know how my memory is. If I missed anybody, y'all please um, uh, drop it on the comments or contact John. John, throw up your email if you would, please, buddy. Contact John and he'll add it to our prayer list. All right. We do keep a list. We do pray for them. It's not just something we talk about. I pray for everybody that I get a request for. Um, and I hope that everybody that I request the prayer for does the same. Um, Upcoming events. We have Cappy Camp coming. John, if you'll throw up the link to Cappy Camp, I think he's got a thing on Facebook where he's got it linked. He's got a link to Facebook where you can go there. It's going to be at, is it Cheehaw State Park, John? I believe. up in North Alabama. That's going to be coming up. I don't remember the dates. So if you could do that too, John. Y'all know how my memory is. Um, yeah, I've been driving her. Magic City Con, we got that coming up 24th through the 26th. Thank you, John. Um, 24th through the 26th is Magic City Con in Birmingham, Alabama. Or it's really Hoover. It's at the Galleria um, there at the Regency Hotel there at the Galleria. It's going to be there. We will have a fan table up, so you guys come and talk to us and pick our brains and see our equipment and see our. John's working on a loop, a video loop to play. It's going to be a lot of fun. So you guys definitely come on out and watch that, or visit with us there, and then check out all the other people that's going to be there. I think Dwayne Dog and Dwayne, not Dwayne, Dwayne and Leland Chapman, Dog and his son Leland are going to be there. Oh my gosh, so many other people. One of the guys from Fast and Furious is going to be there, which is a good friend of John's. Um, I don't remember who all. Y'all go check it out. There's a link. John put up a link to the Magic City Con. Hit on that. Go see it. Y'all come out. We're going to be there all weekend. John and I will definitely be there all weekend. I think the other team members have stuff on that weekend, but they're going to try to come by. Um, but we'll have the table up and running from that Friday, and we'll be there. John and I will be there, and Paramama and Michelle and Dakota and Allie, and we'll all be there from Friday till Sunday. No, from Friday till Monday. Excuse me. We'll be there from Friday till Monday. So y'all definitely come on out and check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really super stoked about that. I'm looking forward to it. I think that is it. Let me check y'all's comments here. Our ghost has taken up the habit of throwing magnets off our refrigerator. Oh my goodness. There's worse things that could be thrown, I guess. Thank you, John. There's his email. There we go. Awesome. So yeah, y'all come check us out. Come to CAPI Camp. Um, John's going to put the date up there for CAPI Camp. I think he already put the link. Maybe not. Magic City Con is the 24th through the 26th, June 24th through 26th. July 14th, 15th, and 16th. Is that right, John? I don't remember. We'll figure it out. John will put that up there in just a minute. So I love that name. Very strong. What name? Excuse me. So I think that's it. Y'all want to get started into this? If there's anything I missed, please pop it up there. If you have a prayer request, pop it up there. Especially if you have a prayer request, because we love to get the prayers out. And I love it that almost 3,000 people are praying um, for all our requests. So that's pretty cool. All right. All right, tonight we are going to be talking about July 15th, 16th, and 17th. Thank you, John. I said 14th, 15th, 16th. It's 15th, 16th, and 17th, July. It's CAPI Camp. The good thing is not throwing them at people, just throwing them into the middle of the floor. Yeah, right? I'm glad it's not throwing them at y'all. Some of those magnets might be a little painful. But let's see if I can do this. I have to be careful not to show the label. All right. Um, let's see. Is that on there? Good. Yeah. All righty. We're going to be talking about voodoo. Because I love when you do that voodoo that you do so well. um, we've had this conversation before. We've talked about the voodoo religion or the Bondoon religion. The Bodun religion, excuse me, if you're in West Africa. Um, uh, or as I like to call it, dark Catholic. It bleeds into Catholicism. I can never say that word, Catholicism. Catholicism. Am I saying that right? Catholicism. I can never say that word. I always say Catholic. Even when I went to a Catholic church, I couldn't say that word. So um, maybe that was a treat. Maybe that was a good thing. Um, but we've had this conversation about um, uh, Von Boone many times, actually, and we actually did a series on it before, but we didn't really get to delve into the religious aspects of it. And I wanted to I actually wanted some ideas on shows, and John actually came through and said, "Hey, why don't we pick back up where we left off on Voodoo?" He said we did a really good, series on Voodoo, and it got a lot of likes and a lot of views. And it, we never really got back into it, like we wanted to. He says, "Why don't we do that?" And I said, "Okay, yeah, awesome." I said, "Yeah, that was a really good series that we did, and the research on it was really easy and fun, and you remind me of the babe with the power. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Strong names, babe with power. Y'all going out left field on me tonight. Y'all got to talk to me like I'm two. Y'all can't just throw up references." But and I also want to thank uh, Joey Rivers. Um, he is our safety and security manager for the team. And he kind of delves into. He doesn't practice voodoo. That's one of the things that he likes to study, and so he knows a few things about studying. He gave me some really good notes, and what I did was is I took his notes and went with the power of voodoo. Oh, I see what you're saying now. Okay, yeah, gotcha. Um, See, you got to talk to me like I'm two, man. I can't get these references, but the oh, Colton, you like that name? I got you. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I did. I didn't come up with that. The mom and dad did. But yeah, that is a cool name. I like it too. Who do you do? Do the voodoo that you do so well. I love it when you do the voodoo that you do so well. Um, Excuse me. And I was able to get some notes. Joey called me up today. Today hasn't been a great day, y'all. It's been kind of a crappy day today. There's some personal issues going on, and today it just kind of boiled up and boiled up and into a boiling point. And it yeah, that second one is right, insane. Um, and so I mean, it just wasn't a really great day. But right in the middle of it, Joey calls me up and says, "Hey, I've got some notes on some of my research on voodoo that I wanted to share with you if that's okay." And I said, "Yeah, absolutely. I can use all the help I can get. Hell yeah. I never say no to help." And so he sent me some really awesome points, and it did help in the research area. Um, but when we talked about voodoo before, we talked about voodoo as a practice, and not so much into the religious aspects. I'm trying to keep that glare out, y'all. I'm sorry. I'll put it down on my tip here, see if that helps. Now I look like an old school marm. I can see you passing notes back there. Yes, I can. Well, like Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys. I hate glasses. I don't do glasses well. They don't look good on me. It still looks bad. I'm sorry. It's not the glasses. It's me. Um, but we did squirrel. But we didn't really dwell into the religious part of it. And I said that's what I wanted to go back to, but we never got a chance to go back to it. Something came up, or we started a new series, or whatever happened. There's an eclipse. Yeah, there's supposed to be a red moon tonight. I can't see it because of cloud coverage, but hopefully you guys can go out and see it. If y'all can, go out and see it. But excuse me. I wanted to get into the religious aspects of it and the origins of it and everything like that. And then I want to use a lot of what Joey sent me today to go into the practice of voodoo a lot, because I think people view voodoo as a dark, um, a dark religion. They view it as a satanic kind of thing, but it's not. It's more faith based, and it actually stands for justice. That's a big thing with voodoo is justice. Um, they and as a matter of fact, if it is used maliciously, there's consequences. The gods will come for you, and whenever I say the gods will come for you, they believe that they will come for you in death. They'll come to get you to take your life if you use it like that. Like if you put a spell or voodoo or a hex or something like that on a innocent person. So it's not something that it's not as dark as a lot of people perceive it to be. Um, there is a when we talk about the religion and the origins of voodoo, there's a lot of stuff in here. I want you guys to do your research. Don't take anything that I say to heart without doing your own research. But what I really want you to do is to forgive me on some of the pronunciations. um, I do not speak French or African, um, uh, and there's a lot of that in there that words that go beyond me, if you will. Um, but voodoo is a monotheistic Afro-Haitian religion that originated in Haiti by the way of by way of Benin. Um, it can be found in Jamaica and the Dominican Republic, and that's where a lot of people thought it was really originated at. Also in the United States and different parts of the world, but it's defined as a blend of the West African uh, Vodun religion and Roman, that word, Catholicism, that I can never say. I know y'all are laughing at me, by ethnic groups who were enslaved and brought to Haiti. Um, but around about that time, Haiti wasn't Haiti. Who can tell me what Haiti was? What was it called around about that time, around the 16th, 17th century, which is when it was introduced there through the ethnic groups that were basically slaves and brought to that region. Um, Now, the amount of people, I think Joey's note said 30 million. My research said 40 million, but I've also seen where it approximated 60 million people today practice voodoo throughout the world. But let's delve into it and see why so many people do it and see what is different from uh, voodoo, which is not voodoo. When we say voodoo, we say that for recognition purposes only. Okay, it's voodoo or voodoo. Um, we did the whole voodoo thing. That's when it was brought over to Haiti and then into the States and into the Americas and around about the 16th, 17th century, and that's when we came up with that. So it's kind of like us saying ghost. We don't really like that word. It's spirits or entities, but just for recognition purposes. Um, the West Africans, especially in what's now called Benin. Um, it was all based on traditions of worshiping ancestors and animals um, in mythology and religious practices, and it wasn't based on anything dark or anything like that. Um, it was actually they started it as a crap. Now my phone's gonna die. I still got time. It's storming here. It's not storming here, but there's a lot of clouds. The dark interpretations comes mostly from Hollywood. Not just Hollywood. Hollywood did run with it, but the way um, Christians viewed this new religion, um, 16th, 17th century Christians were pretty brutal people. If you didn't believe what they believed, they were worse than Muslims, modern day Muslims. Mm. Um, Fanatical Muslims. Let me make sure I say that. But it wasn't so much Hollywood did run with the dark side of it, where the slitting of the chickens' throats and and putting a hex on cheating lover or something like that, and turning people into zombies and stuff like that, which, believe it or not, is real. There have been recorded cases of people, the undead, walking, which they're actually not dead, but we'll get into that. But it was the way we viewed it. It's what gave it its dark reputation. It's the way that Anglo-Saxons, Christians, the way we viewed it as a religion, because it didn't step inside of what Christianity said. Um, then it became a dark or evil type thing when it actually wasn't. Um, it really and truly wasn't. Um, the Hold on, let me get to that part because that's really important. All right, when African slaves arrived at their plantations in Haiti and New Orleans, they brought with them their African religion. The slave masters quickly tried to convert them to Christianity because that's what we do, and laws were passed to ensure that this conversion occurred uniformly throughout Haiti. Because that's what Christians do. If they don't believe in what they believe, they pass laws, they make rules, or they just beat the crap out of you or kill you until you adhere to their religion. That's why religion is one of the worst things on earth. Instead of abandoning their ancestral religion and voodoo practices, they blended their beliefs with Roman Catholicism. And yeah, no, I don't say that right. Creating the unique blend of beliefs that makes up voodoo today. The enslaved Africans adapted many of the Catholic saints, creating hybrid rituals with their doctrine of beliefs that were, already established. And so they said, okay, well, we're not going to become Christians. All right, that's not going to happen. But we will listen to you and see, and incorporate your practices where it would stand true to our beliefs, and which I think is really intelligent. It kind of says, one for the West Africans, zero for the Christians. So I mean, it gave leadway to what um, Von Dune really is, but also was open and considerate to this new religion, this new introduction of Christianity. Um, they called their god Bandai. Voodoo is a monotheistic religion without a written text because it is based on oral tradition. It varies upon location. That's always going to happen whenever you have a personal belief instead of a doctrine. Their followers, called Vaudousians, believe in the supreme god Bandi. Bandi, the creator of everything and the source of universal order. Bandi is considered a remote god, and he uses the Iwa spirits to interact with the Vaudousians for direct interaction with humanity. Voodoo is a part of everyday life, and the Iwa walk among the living. And that statement on this particular definition I don't really agree with that totally. The Iwa did interact with us as far as this religion is concerned, but humans were spirits um, that walked in this realm. Iwas were, and Bondi was the um, supreme ruler, I guess you would say, in that aspect to that world, and Iowa was there for that purpose in that domain. Um, he controlled a specific um, domain. Iowa did, and the Buddhists make offerings to them in favor. The laws are organized into nations or families based on similar characteristics or functions. The practitioners believe in rituals used to garner protection by the Iowa. Um, it was based on protection, um, notability, fortune, and justice. And it was taken very, very serious. Um, some of the rituals, let's get into. It just cuts off there. Thank you very much. All right, here's what I was talking about earlier. The Awa uh, can also possess the bodies of the devout. It should be noted that the Awas are not gods. Voodoo beliefs confirm that they are. There's somebody walking down the street and they stop to listen. Beliefs and rituals used to garner. Haitian Voodoo states that these spirits are among the devout from everyday life. Haitian Voodoo took many of their beliefs and symbolism from Catholicism as their slave masters demanded that they convert. A meshing of their ancient, this is what we talked about earlier, ancient African religion and Catholicism created voodoo. Um, Buddhists made, yeah, I remember Buddhists are practitioners. They went by many names: Voodooist, Voodissants, Voodooisans, and serviteurs. Um, and those different labels, if you will, were placed on geographics and on levels of whatever practice that you did in that field. Um, where did we leave off at? Buddhists made patron saints their basis for their awa. Papa Legba is the gatekeeper of communication between the mortals and the other Iowa. He is based on the Roman Catholic St. Peter. Catholic hymns and prayers are often said during voodoo rituals, a nod to their blended faith. Asian voodoo beliefs and symbols are a combination of ancient African religion and Catholicism. And I want to get into that's what I was looking for. If you guys will give me 1 second, I want to get into uh, more into the rituals, which I have that here because that's what I really want to focus on is what they did and why. And that's definitely the part that I do not want to get wrong right here. Because that's very important because that's where it kind of drops off from the Catholicism to the Catholic. I'm just going to say Catholic because I can never say that word. Someone's going to have to tell me how to say that. Um, Beliefs, the rituals. Here we go. This is what we wanted because it was based on so many things that pointed towards Christianity, but went about it in a much different way, and and in most sense in a much better way. Okay, the ritual language used in voodoo is termed. I can never say this correctly either. Lanje. Many of these terms derive from the Fon language of West Africa, including the term voodoo itself. First recorded in the 1658 Doctrina Christiana, the Fon word Voodoo was used as the West African kingdom of Doheny to signify spirit of deity. In the Haitian Creole language, voodoo religion came to be used to describe a specific style of dance and drumming. Outsiders of the religion later adopted the term as a generic term for much of Afro Haitian religion, with, a, with the term now encompassing a variety of Haiti's African derived religious traditions and practices. Now, that to me says that because what they did during their rituals, for whatever the ritual was for, um, because they would offer uh, sacrifice offerings included fruit, liquor, sacrificed animals, um, and they would give these to spirits of the dead. Several forms of divination are utilized to decipher messages from the Iowa. Healing rituals and the preparation of herbal remedies and talismans also played a prominent role because they did so much to not only help people spiritually and in everyday life, but also in health. Um, and and protection. Um, and like I said, this was coming from the view of, let's go back to that where it says, in the Haitian Creole language, Voodoo came to be described as outsiders to the religion later adopted the term as a generic term for much of Afro-Haitian religion, with the term now encompassing a variety of Haiti's African-derived religious traditions and practices. So that's where it started getting kind of broken up. That's where is whenever they started seeing this, talking about the Christians, the Catholics, when they started seeing this new religion that um, the slaves were practicing, they were like, that looks kind of dark to us. We don't really like that. We're going to have to put down some rules and regulations here, and we'll have to get these people converted over so that they can go to heaven, because Christians and religious practices of Christian, whatever sect you're in, always says it's either our way or damnation. Um, so the Buddhists looked at it and they said, well, we're not going to step away from our religion just because you want us to. It doesn't work that way. But what we'll do is we'll compromise and we'll incorporate this and give everybody a kind of a look into it, basically. And what they were really doing is continuing their practices, but saying, okay, we'll allow this, this, and this. We'll allow your God and your saints to be included, but we're not going to. They didn't say that to them, of course. They said, they said, okay, we'll allow this to come into this, but we're not going to stop doing what we're doing. And so they continued, and the songs and the dance and the gestures and the prayers and all that stuff like that. Even though they used some hymns and some ministries from the Catholics to in their rituals, the rituals was still the same. That magic or that darkness was still the same in that aspect of what they believed. Um, so it was kind of a red herring, basically. They said, okay, we'll do this um, to appease you, but we're going to continue our religion, and that's what they did. And I really, while I'm not a voodoo practitioner myself, and I don't believe in a lot of that stuff that they a lot of their practices and everything, I I have to admire them for their finesse and their cunning ways to get through this. Hey, you have to do it our way or no way, and they said, okay, well we'll do that. Sure. So, and I've never knocked a religion, excuse me, um, ever. I don't care who you are, what you do. That's between you and your destiny. That doesn't have anything to do with me. So, um, so you guys see how, and I know I'm explaining it badly at this point because my notes got kind of screwed, but do you see how they? Sorry, almost knocked you off the table. You see how they incorporated that? They brought a lot of that in there so that they could continue doing what they wanted to do. So they continue their religion, and it sucks that they had to do that. It really does. It sucks they had to change anything or incorporate anything. They should have been able to do what they wanted to do. But we're not even going to get into the whole aspect of that because all that's just completely ignorant. It should have never happened in the first place. They shouldn't have been in that position to where they had to compromise or change or anything like that. Um, uh, Various scholars describe voodoo religions as one of the most misunderstood religions, and its reputation is notorious in broader Anglophone and Francophone society. It has been widely associated with sorcery, witchcraft, and black magic. The U.S. popular culture, for instance, Haitian voodoo is usually portrayed as destructive and malevolent. Um, Attitudes sometimes linked with anti-black racism. Non-practitioners have often depicted voodoo in literature, theater, and film. In many cases, such as the films White Zombie in 1932 and London Voodoo in 2004, these promote sensation. I can never say that either. I swear I need to learn how to talk. Sensationalism. Thank you. Sensationalist views of the religion. The lack of any control of central voodoo authority has hindered efforts to combat these negative representations. But once again, we took that and we ran with it, because it didn't fall into our beliefs and everything. It it was turned into something else because of the history of religion says if it's not what we say it is, and if it doesn't go by the religion that we think it should be, then it's got to be bad. It's got to be dark. It's got to be wrong. It's got to be of the devil. Basically, um, they didn't take time to look at what voodoo was doing, and that's why the religion was taken so far into dark practices and such as that. What I want to do for the second part of this is um, I'm still going to finish this up, don't worry. But what I want to do for the second part of this is I want to go into the rituals themselves. Why did they do them? What did they do, and um, why did they do it? And what was the consequences for taking this religion to where Christianity said it was? Christianity said it was something so bad. Um, and what was the consequences for doing that? Because it did happen. Um, and what would make them want to do that as well? Um, it was usually had a lot to do with money and notoriety. Um, Taking the religion in a dark or negative aspect really fueled the flames as far as being able to explain it as something other than uh, what it really was. Um, Taking away from what their beliefs were, not only what their beliefs were, but what their beliefs were based on, and 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 their views. After looking through this and researching it before and now, I look at Vodun as I akin it to its stance in the religious aspects as the paranormal in scientific aspects. You know, if you ask a non-believer about the paranormal, especially a Christian non-believer, um, 9 times out of 10 you're getting it into the conversation of Satanism, um, and that's not what it is. It's nothing about that. CAPI, our team, CAPI, proves that you can be Christian-based um, research group and still survive in the paranormal and survive very well, I might add, in the paranormal. It's for a very long amount of time. Um, we get kind of the dark and negative views of not only of science but of also of Christianity and religion. Um, the same as because people don't understand what it is. The same as this. These Haitian slave owners would come and see these rituals, and they're like, this doesn't go by what I've been taught in Sunday school. This doesn't go by what the preacher says. This doesn't go by what uh, the Catholic Church stands for. So it has to be dark. What they're doing is demonic. And just because it didn't fit into their ideals of what it is, and that's what took voodoo from being this religion of self, and not just self help, but of helping others and giving the available. Uh, I can't think of what I'm trying to say. It's giving the the people the chance to have wealth, and health and justice. Um, the whole justice thing, that's part of it. That's what I definitely, when we go into the rituals, that's going to be a big one that we go into, is the justice side of it, is because a lot of times people would come to these Buddhists and they would say, my husband's cheating on me, or my husband's beating me, or he's trying to kill me, or, or whatever, or this person did me wrong and they won't make right and anything like that. What can I do? And they gave them different rituals that they could do, um, different symbolic items and prayers and um, incantations and stuff like that to gain that justice on them. And so because that became so prevalent in the Vodun religion, then they seen a need for laws to be added to that, to say, okay, we got to put some ground rules down here because people are starting to just do this stuff. And money did have a lot to do with that, unfortunately. Just like in Christianity, money changes um, a lot of people's views. Excuse me. A lot of people's views on religion and Christianity. When money starts coming into play, that's when a lot of people will say, "Yeah, I believe in God, and yeah, all you have to do is send me $200, and I'll make sure you get everything you want through prayer and faith." And a lot of people play into that. That's why you have these multi-millionaire uh, evangelists and stuff like that. And it's preach on Sunday to tell you to send all your money to them so that they can be good stewards of your money through God. And Friday evening, they won't let you in the church to escape the floodwaters. So uh, here too, some practitioners, when you know faced with poverty and want and need and stuff like that, they said, here comes these Westerners and saying, "Hey, can you do something for me on this?" And they're like, "No, it doesn't work that way." And they're like, "Well, here's $100." And they're like, "Oh, well, hey, maybe I can." And did some of them even? I'm gonna put a little nip, nip, a little nip of the next show, and a little something for you to chew on. Did the priest and priestesses maybe add a few items that was good for sale, but not faith or religion? Maybe. um, I mean, let's look at it like this: like in the 50s and 70s, throughout the 50s, throughout the 60s, throughout the 70s, a huge market came available um, for paraphernalia into Buddhism. Um, they would take these different things like voodoo dolls and St. Peter statues uh, and different items like elixirs and blood and bones and stuff like that, and they would be viewed on the outside as pieces of art, and but viewed on the inside as practition, paraphernalia for practition. And because it was viewed that way, it sold for lots of money. And so, did these people just go out and find the stuff on their own? No, they went to the voodoo priest and they said, "Hey, we need this, this, and this, and what do you got for this?" And they're like, "This is our religion. We can't sell this." But obviously, some of them looked at the money and viewed it more important than the artifacts themselves. So I don't know, but we'll definitely get into that when we talk about uh, the rituals. And I just wanted to get into the religious part of it and how it came about. And something like something Joey said whenever he sent me his notes was that it didn't voodoo didn't actually derive in the Caribbean like a lot of people thought it did. Um, I can't go to exactly what he says because it's on my phone and I can't go there while I'm online or while I'm on live. Unfortunately, I wish I need to get a smartphone. I really do. Um, uh, but I wanted you guys to see why a lot of this stuff got turned from being what the Afro-Haitian religion um, made it into be as different of the West African religion, okay? Because it was starting to be westernized whenever it was, the 16th, 17th century, around that time, whenever all these slaves were brought over and who were practicing Voodoo, um, how it got kind of turned a little bit through compromise and through. Now, am I saying it's a bad thing that they compromised? No, like I said earlier, I think it was pretty sly of them the way they did it. Um, but and I know what you guys are going to say because when it comes to Christianity and stuff like that, people say, "Well, I'll never alter on my beliefs, no matter what. They can cut my head off in Times Square. I'll never alter on my beliefs, anything." But I think in their minds, what they were doing was not changing their religion. They were compromising as far as being able to continue their religion. I think that if you really thought about how Christian viewpoints on change and compromise, how much it would change if they came to you and said, okay, look, you guys can't practice Christianity in a church anymore. You can't have these buildings, these big buildings, and where you do Sunday school and worship and song and um, Bible studies and fellowships and stuff like that. You can't do that anymore, but you can go to the parks and still practice your religion, and we won't bother you. Just go to your parks and or to your homes and whatever, and you can do that. Um, I think that a lot of it would be against everything the religion is based on to stop spreading Christianity just because you can't go to a quote unquote church. So that's kind of what they did. They kind of said, before you say that that would never happen, it did. All right, 2 years ago it happened. All right, they said you can still practice your religion. We don't have a problem with that. You just can't go to church. So it did happen. Okay, you can't gather in a big church. I, I don't understand why people were allowed to go in other places. I mean, I don't care what they were allowed to do or what they weren't allowed to do. As far as religion and beliefs go, if you stand by your principles and all that, it doesn't matter where you're at. But I've always said you don't have to go to church. A Christian can be a Christian without a church. It helps to go to church to be around like-minded and to study and stuff like that, but you don't have to. So I think that's what these Buddhists did is they looked at it and they said, you know what, we can still practice this. We just got to kind of, you know, incorporate a little bit of what they're saying. And if you look at our teachings and what we believe, it kind of falls into a lot of the way the Catholics believe. So we can actually incorporate that and still be able to practice. Excuse me. And they were in a lot worse position than we are today because they were told, hey, you can't do this and this, and if they disobeyed, they could die. Their um, consequences for dis, disobeying disobeying their overseers or slave masters or whatever you want to call them was you know great physical harm or death. So they're like, we want to let this religion die here, or do we want to keep practicing? And so they came up with a way to make it to where they could keep practicing. And then whenever it got out of the slave aspect of the religion, and around towards the end of the 17th century, whenever these slaves were these practitioners were becoming free and being able to practice what they wanted to practice, um, they stuck by it. And but then, like we said earlier during the introduction, Hollywood got a hold of it, and Christian got a hold of it, and said, "Oh, this is all dark." And so I'm sure that they don't care, that it's been turned into something like that. They're like, we're just going to practice our religion. We don't care. If you don't like it, that's fine. Don't come here. If you think we're dark, that's cool. Whatever. I mean, if someone come up to me and says, I'd be a Christian if y'all wouldn't uh, do the things y'all do in that church. I know y'all are just so dark, and y'all sacrifice people, and y'all kiss rattlesnakes. That's Baptist, by the way. But we don't want anything to do with any of that stuff. And be like, oh, well, God bless you, brother. Don't come then. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. That's between you and God. I want you to come, and I invite you to come and see for yourself and see what it really is. But I'm not gonna stop doing what I'm doing because you don't approve. So that's one of the things that always really impressed me about with Von Dune is uh, the availability to compromise to keep it alive. Um, I thought that was really, really, really cool. Um, and they did, and because their practice didn't go too far over what the Catholics believed, then they were able to do that. Um, let's see. I want to get into this before we stop because that kind of segues into the rituals part of it. That the whole delivering the whole possession and all that stuff. During religious rites, believers sometimes enter a trance like state in which the devotee may eat and drink, perform stylized dances, give supernaturally inspired advice to people, perform medical cures, um, special physical feats. These acts exhibited the incarnate presence of the Awa within the entranced devotee. Voodoo ritual activity, prayer, song, dance, gestures, whatever, is aimed at refining and restoring balance and energy in relationships between people and the spirits of the unseen world, where that um, Mondai and Iowa, um, where they exist, where they reside. A central ritual involves practitioners drumming, singing, and dancing to encourage the Iowa to possess one of their members and thus communicate with them. Um, kind of going into uh, Pentecostal, isn't it? That's what they do too. Offerings to the Iowa include fruit, liquor, and sacrificed animals. Offerings are also given to the spirits of the dead. Several forms of divination are utilized to decipher messages from the Iowa. Healing rituals and the preparation of herbal remedies and talisman also play a prominent role. So you see, they would bring into these different uh, tools of their religion, and the things. It's going to get dark for a minute. I'm sorry. These things that kind of defined what they were and how they did their rituals and everything that was ultimately turned into artifacts. Um, maybe for survival purposes. I don't know. But whatever it was, it worked. But I'm sorry, I turned it pink, didn't I? There we go. It's really dark out here. There's no moon. It's all behind the clouds. Plus, it's probably dark right now because it's in an eclipse. So, but these rituals were looked upon by the Christians, and they were like, "Hey, there's something not right about this. There's something weird about this. They're using whiskey and rum, and they're using yeah, it's telling me it's time to charge. Do I hear a cat in the background? Yes, you do. I'm looking around my house for the spectral kitty. No, there's kittens and cats right behind me. We have um, a cage that goes over a window, and the cats come out into that little. The cats that can't survive outside by themselves go out into that little place so they can be on the outside some too. We have indoor cats that want to be outside, so we built a little area off the house here that they can come out, and that's what you're hearing. I'm sorry. seen one that I didn't see before. I believe blowfish powder is used for that, if I remember correctly. That is an awesome, awesome statement, Michelle. We're going to get into that. There's some people that says that that's true, that they'd use the hallucinogenics for a lot of these rituals. But there's also some people that says that they did not use it, that that was just the excuse that people would use to explain away what was happening. So we're going to get into that. Um, I think it's either or, depending on the situation and the need. A voodoo priest once said that voodoo could unite the world. All religions could look at voodoo. I hate this thing on the phone when it does this. Voodoo and honestly hate it. I, yeah, I I like that. I've never. I'm gonna have to get you. You're gonna have to get me the creator of that quote who said that. That is pretty awesome. I like that. I think I've heard something like that before, but I think it was more based towards Assembly of God. I think I've heard something in that general, which it was probably adapted from that statement. So I'm gonna have to check that out. I like that. Yeah, everybody could get together and just be in one accord to hate voodoo. Yeah, that way there'd be no more fighting. Because religion is the mother of pretty much all the wars and everything. That's why I always say religion is the worst thing that ever happened to the world. But I really do like that, and it's true too. But it's their perception of it though. It's not the real. It's not what it is. It's their perception of voodoo. It's voodoo. That's what it is. And when we get into after we finish the rituals, we're going to get into the last part of this is going to be how it's perceived today, and it's going to show you that a lot of this, um, when we say voodoo, that is what was created in the latter part of the 17th century to explain what was going on. Um, and that's why voodoo practitioners don't use the word voodoo because that's a Haitian term created by the West and the Catholics. But yeah, we'll get into that. But I love that quote. That is awesome, Joey. Had to see it. Y'all say stuff and I don't have a clue what you're talking about. All a matter of time. Most known practice of voodooism is animal sacrifice. Old Testament Christians do the. Hmm. Yeah, but when they did it, it was okay. Do you know Old Testament Christians didn't just sacrifice animals? One was even charged with sacrificing his son. Can anybody tell me who that was? He didn't do it because the angel come down and said, "Hey, we were just testing you. Don't do it." But he was going to. He had him laid out on the block and was fixing to slice him open. Hey, Beth, it's okay. The only thing you missed was a really bad description of voodoo. I love that quote, man. I'm gonna use that. I've never heard. I've heard an aspect to that quote, but I bet it did derive from that because whenever I was in the Pentecostal church, which is Assembly of God, um, I'd heard that said before that all the other religions, Christian sects, could get together and hate Pentecostal unanimously. That is too cool. I love that, Joey. I want to get Joey on here. Abraham, thank you, John. Very good. John with the big brain. Yep, Abraham was about to slice his son open because God told him to. And then the angel come down and said, "Hey, we're just kidding. Don't do it. Don't do it." But yeah, but when Christians sacrifice stuff like that, like lambs and cattle and people and stuff like that, it's okay. It's all right because that's of God. You can do that, but not any other religion can't do it. If they do it, it's barbaric and insane. All right, I think I'm caught up now. I hope y'all can't see all those dots that pop up on the screen when I scroll. I know it would be aggravating. Yeah, I think I'm caught up now. I love the references that Joey's given, and then the reference to the hallucinogenics with the blowfish. Um, but like I said, there's some that still state today that that's not the case. That it wasn't hallucinogenics that caused those um, people to see stuff and believe stuff. Um, the power of the mind is pretty freaking powerful. It's pretty amazing, and we've only begun to tap into it. So suggestatory states can, make people think they're dead. I'm going to find a story. There's a story of a man that went to a voodoo priestess, and he went for advice on something. I think love, and they kept him, and they had a funeral for him. He died, and but then he came back. He came back to life, and but he was with this priest or a priestess. I think it was a priest. He was with them for a long time, um, doing their bid as in a hallucinant state. So, but yeah, we'll get it. I'll find that story and get into it because that goes into the ritualistic practices, and that's what I want to touch on next week. Is I want to get into that. I want to. I have a little bit more on the religion aspects uh, of Von Dune that I didn't get a chance to research. But and the only reason I didn't get a chance to research it is because I didn't even think about it until Joey sent me some notes today. And y'all don't know how much that helped me. It really did. It helped me a lot. And there was some stuff on there that I didn't get a chance to collaborate with and go with. So I'm going to. There's a picture of him kneeling beside his own grave. Yes, there is. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But I'm gonna get that story. I'm definitely gonna get that story and share it when we get in, dwell deeper into the rituals, and not just the Walking Dead, but the reason for the rituals and the practices and how they did them, and for whatever the cause or the need was of the follower. So we're definitely going to get into that. And I want to get into that story too because it's a very interesting and it kind of goes along with what the rituals were based on and how they would use the power of suggestion and stuff like that. So I definitely want to get into that. And yes, some people did say it was drug induced, but there's a lot of people that says it wasn't drug induced. So we want to get into that and kind of make up our own minds on it. So you guys look into that this week, this coming week. I want you to look into the rituals of of um, of Badun and get a get a good idea of. I tell you this every week when we're on a subject. I always tell you guys, go and do your research. And the reason why I want you to do your research is because I want you to question me. I want you to have ammunition and knowledge so that one, if I do say something incorrect, you can correct me, or two, you can come up with some pretty intelligent questions like y'all have done tonight, and statements. So sorry, it was a mosquito, but y'all get into it. Everybody but Joey. Joey already knows it. But get into some just in your leisure time. If you read a book before bed or something like that, don't read that book that night. Just go on and do some research. Go to the library. There's books on it. Careful which books you get and who wrote them. Um, use your computer. You get on your computer and get some research on the rituals and ritualistic beliefs, why they did them, and how they did them, and how they did different types of rituals for different needs. All right. So that's what I want you guys to do sometime this week. I know no one ever has time to do anything. I know that. Believe me, I know that. With us moving and work and all that, it's hard. But I know if I can make it happen, I work 10 to 14 hours a day, 5 days a week. So I know if I can make it happen, y'all can make it happen. So do some little research. You don't have to go into the whole voodoo religion or practices or anything like that. Just go into the rituals and look at some of the stuff they did and why they did them and what it would take to get them to do one. If you were someone in need and you went to a priest or a priestess and requested it, what would it take from you? What would they want from you to make this happen? Um, as in a lot of different practices, a lot of this stuff was geared towards money um, for survival, um, but a lot of it also wasn't geared towards money. All right. As a matter of fact, sometimes money wasn't used when it was asked of the recipient for money. The money wasn't used to spend to go buy chickens and whiskey or rum. It was actually spent on sacrifice. They would sacrifice the money too. So it was believed that whatever, I don't want to get too far into this because that's going to bleed into next week's show, but it was believed that whatever the need was is what the would call for what the sacrifice was. So if you were there to get money, you might have to spend a little to get it. But sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. But there's a lot of people that said it always worked. So you be the judge. But thank you guys for making this such a great show. Thank you for your questions and your comments and your suggestions. And Joey, oh my gosh, anytime on any subject, on any series that we're doing, and you want to drop some suggestions, please do not hesitate because you dropped some doozies today for me. And it really helped out. It really did. I really appreciate that. Um, Also, I want to thank you for the distraction because my day was going really, really, really bad. And I was forced to make some really hard life decisions today. And it was a bummer. It was really a bummer. And you doing that not only helped me with the research and gave me some ideas on furthering the series, but it also gave me a distraction from what I didn't want to be doing and thinking about. So, on a personal level, I also thank you very much for that. Please, you and anybody else that ever wants to help with suggestions on shows, on topics, on research on said topics, please never hesitate because I will always accept it. And I will always tell you the truth too. If you help me out, I'll thank you and say appreciate that. If you give me bad info because you received that bad info, I'll tell you that too. Because there's a lot of that out there. We can learn together. But next week, we're going to get back into the religious aspect of it so I can further explain this with my notes that it won't let me get. Um, kind of go into the Johnny aspect of it. Y'all know whenever I say Johnny aspect of it, that means that so Johnny can understand it, right? Instead of reading it off of here, I can put it in my own words. So, which I did. So, um, we'll go into that, but we're really going to focus on the rituals next week. So you guys, please do some research on it. If you have time, if you don't, that's fine. Just join the show anyway. We'll be here. But I'm really looking forward to getting into the fruit and liquor, if you will, of it. Yeah, I hope y'all can see that little pun there. Um, but I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for making this another great show. I wouldn't do this if I didn't have anybody to do it with, but I would do it if I only had one person. All right. And I'll always continue to educate as best I can and to also be educated by you. I love you guys so much. You just don't know. I really appreciate everybody that comes onto the show um, that gives us topics and just listens and learns about the real paranormal. I really love you guys so much. And I will see you guys next week, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, here on YouTube, as of every week. I want you guys to do me a huge favor, okay? Sometime this week, I don't care if it's a friend, family member, or someone you meet on the street, make at least one person smile this coming week because that's what we need the most of right now is a bunch of smiles, right? Because they're a heck of a lot better than the frowns and the tears. I love you guys so much. Y'all have a great week. Have a paranormal week. And I'll see you next Sunday. Take care and God bless.